Hi Aries, thank you for joining me. We'll do 3-card tarot in a minute using a deck I have not used for a very long time actually. So there's plenty of energy in it. Looks like that on the back, looks very much like that on the front, and it is the Tarot of the Sephiroth. I've left the box over here just a sec. There we go. Too many boxes in this life. This is what the box looks like. It's not a very well known deck, this. I'm surprised it didn't catch on more than it has done, but there we go. We are definitely looking at hidden worlds when this comes up. I'm planning to use this deck all this week, so that side of it isn't just for Aries, but we're definitely looking into hidden worlds. It is the end of Mercury retrograde in the week that I'm doing this. There's also a nice lucky Leo new moon coming in as well. So lots of things to be positive about, and actually, you know, serious positive changes coming in. So the first card out of the Tarot of the Sephiroth this week for the sign of Aries is the Two of Wands. Here we are now, being Wands card, it's fire sign energy, so it's you guys Aries. It's also Leo energy, it's also Sagittarius energy, and we can kind of see a very Aryan symbol down there. Now these are interesting ones, these ones. This is a very interesting deck actually. The spheres and the circles in it relate to the Sephiroth of the Tree of Life in the Kabbalistic tradition, which is very close to the traditional tarot. We are looking at pretty much against a purple sky here, and it's a light purple, isn't it? It's rather like lilac amethyst. And this is making me think back to that hidden worlds thing, actually. Very subtle healing coming into a situation. Because it's the Two of Wands, there is a definite impetus to move forward at the moment. You may not actually feel like moving forward yet. That can be a real difficult one, and this is really quite fiery energy showing up here with the two wands. But this one looks a little bit like a yin-yang, and it's making me think balance, you know, and something I was saying a lot last week as well, which still applies, I'm sure. Things go in cycles, and if you can't actually make this journey or embark on this journey right now, then you know these things go in cycles and your chance will come again. But it's a fairly positive card, the Two of Wands. The progress really is already happening when we get this card. It's just, have we kind of admitted it to ourselves? And it's one of those things where we can stand still, you know, and just decide, no, I'm not going to do anything yet, but kind of life can easily move along almost without us. Of course, life never moves on without us because we are all part of life. So, sooner or later, that journey is going to have to begin. Okay, definite Mars energy around this card, actually. I've just looked at it again from the front, and there we've got the symbol of Mars there. Barely visible, actually. It doesn't really show in the screen. Can you see it? It's right at the top in between the two wands there. So some masculine energy there, no doubt about that, but it is all about balance, okay? Now then, to complement the Tarot of the Sephiroth this week, I'm asking also for additional meanings from Rebecca Campbell, Work Your Light Oracle Guide deck, with artwork by Danielle Noel, and she is a fantastic artist, gosh. We are lucky to have such oracle cards by such good artists around at the moment. It's one of the great things of modern printed technology. So tell us more about the Two of Wands, please. And we have got Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? And so here's that impetus to get something done again. Now this lady is holding a sword. In the traditional tarot, that would be air sign energy. So this is very likely Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini around you in this situation, Aries. Okay. Also with the swords, this is decisions, right? And there is this choice to make. And it really is a choice, you know. These ones are crossed. You could go either way, no doubt about it. But the journey is already happening. This is a bit like... Well, perhaps our American friends know about this. I hope so. There's this TV series in the 1980s in UK called Only Fools and Horses, and it went worldwide. And at one point, one of the characters has a baby, you know, and her husband kind of is still trying to tell her, you know, we can't really do this at the moment. It's not going to work out. There's a Simpsons episode like it as well. And the baby is born while he's still standing there saying, oh, we need to put this off another couple of years. It's a bit like this, Aries, in this situation here. It's really going to be important to move on. We need some blue sky thinking, yeah? And we can see, you know, speaking your truth there most certainly, and a third eye image as well. So on this journey, remember that there is going to be spiritual guidance around. Okay, and you've got to be a bit of a warrior woman about it, even if you're a man. Okay, think goddess energy if you're a man wondering about that one. Okay, men are always wondering about something. Trust me, I am one, I think. Right, just a minute. Excuse me. Tea, and big thanks, Claire Burnett, if you're watching, for this fabulous mug, which is great. Right, let's shuffle Tarot of the Sephiroth again and say, let's have the middle card in this reading for the sign of Aries, please. I'm doing this actually on the 31st of July, but the time to watch these readings, friends, is whenever you're drawn to them. And if you are drawn, do go and take a look at my channel as well. If you'd like to subscribe and tap the bell, you'll be right in there, no problem. I think there's coming up to 450 videos on there at the moment. Might as well go and have a look, because if you're drawn to one, it's almost as if that's your reading today. You know, it's always the energy of the moment with these things. So the middle card in this spread, Six of Swords. Right, it's a very interesting depiction of the Six of Swords there as well. Very positive number, very magical, and this is the heart of the matter, being the middle card. We've got this lilac amethyst colour here again, which is very strongly suggesting to me that healing is needed, and it's coming in gently, and it's coming in subtly from the higher realms. So something to pray about, perhaps something to meditate about, but not so much that you've got to act on kind of the spiritual, psychic side of this. But this is air, so it's classic air sign energy. You need to get this decision made. It's actually not just a single individual decision, but you see, as it goes two different ways here, it gets even more complicated here, because we've gone from a 2 to a 6, but in terms of numerology, we have actually made considerable progress in a short time to get from a 2 to a 6. This is pretty much the Star of David pattern. Now, the word David in Hebrew actually means beloved, so do remember that you're loved when this card comes up. It's definitely about pushing ahead, though. It really is. So even though this is more to do with the decision-making side of it, just don't dilly-dally. That's what I've got to say. Let me look at this card head-on and see what else we're looking at. Just the way these swords are crossed it's very actually like a pentagram. I mean, it's bound to be, because a pentagram's got 5 points and this has got 6, but there is masses and masses of magic there. We tend to associate the pentagram with kind of Western spirituality a lot, but this is more the way it's seen towards the east, and it's essentially a very similar set of meanings, right? So there's a vine growing all around this Six of Swords. So somehow nature is there, and that is telling us that somehow the decisions that we've got to make, when it looks a bit of a minefield to pick through, somehow we're going to be supported, somehow we're going to get some psychic intuition coming in about that, okay? And don't ignore that psychic intuition, friends, because it is always pouring in. I must admit, I haven't seen the full picture in the Six of Swords yet there, Aries, so let's have another shuffle and say, Rebecca Campbell, in your Work Your Light Oracle Cards deck, please tell us more about the Six of Swords in this reading for the sign of Aries. And we've got Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? Lots of feminine goddess energy and lots of progressive energy in this, because this comes after Warrior Woman. And telling us more about the Six of Swords here. How are you being called to step up and lead? This is where it gets really complicated. This is what all that big string of decisions is about. I've no doubt now I look at this. This is really, you've got to be absolutely clear about which way you're being called. Not which way you want to go, but which way you're being called, okay? Any of us who call ourselves light workers and kind of work for the spirit realms and sort of try and bring love and light into the world, we're called into it usually in quite a particular way, and that can change as we go along the journey. It really can. But, there's eventually there comes out of it something that you do that you're drawn to do. It took me a long time to realise that what I'm meant to do here is be a spiritualist medium, and I can do that through tarot cards and through these readings, and I find it works. People get in touch, people tell me what's going on. So that's how I was being called to step up and lead. How much I'm leading, I don't know. I'm not a very leadership type of person, really. I tend to think that in spiritual matters, you should be led by yourself, really. So do listen to your heart there, okay? Because the priestess is there. She's calling to you, okay? And she's calling to the inner priestess inside all of us, every one of us. So, let's move on and have the outcome card of this 3-card spread for the sign of Aries. The outcome card, please, and we will do another oracle card to find out where we're at. And what have we here? 6 of Wands. Now then, these cards do actually all have different coloured backgrounds, but all 3 that we've got today now have actually got this lilac amethyst hint about them, this flavour about them. Big yellow circle that has to do with the Sephiroth. I don't actually want to bring that into this reading, guys, but the most important meaning behind any of these cards is the ones that you actually put on them yourself. So do take on board that yellow circle there. It certainly would surround us with golden light, which is no bad thing. 6 of Wands, it's another 6, and we have actually got the Star of David sign again there. So there's a big strong reminder that you are loved, and in the heart of this star it's a much darker, much richer amethyst colour, and so there the healing is going to step up as you get closer and closer to where you're being drawn and to whatever you're being drawn to lead and show leadership in. So let's shuffle again. This is a very mystic reading, this, but that happens when you get to this going on. Sagittarian energy, by the way, I want to say. Just been drawn to the sign of Jupiter up here, and being a Saggy, I remember straight away that is my ruling planet. So there's Sagittarian energy around there. Also Leo in that card. And also, because it's a wand card, great deal of thrusting energy, getting ahead, getting things moving. Okay, so tell us some more about that, please, in this reading for Aries. 2 cards have fallen out, so we'll do them both. Why not? First one out, trust the niggle, that niggling feeling, whatever it is. And we've got the lilac amethyst here again, and this character is absolutely robed in it. Now notice she is the only one in colour here. Everyone else is kind of black and white, and it's because she's not actually seeing the full reality of what's going on around her, whether that's people, the weather, anything. It's fluid energy, you know, applies itself in different ways to different people, and so many people watch this, and thank you, by the way, so many people watch this that it could mean a lot of different things. But the lilac amethyst says gentle, subtle healing. The image also generally backs up the idea of the spirit realms coming in to help, of inspiration coming. And although this sky is very dark, it's always darkest just before dawn. So there we are, 2 of Wands, 6 of Swords, 6 of Wands. So at the very beginning and at the very end, we actually have the Aries fire sign energy showing through. It is actually about quite a lot of tricky decisions in the middle here. This looks really difficult, and you'll be aware of some of this decision making now, Aries, I'm sure. But it actually comes out 6 of Wands. It's another fire sign card, and this means it's getting done. This means it's happening. This means it's taking us places. And trust the niggle. What was the other card that fell out? Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. It's happening now, okay? I'm not going to try and give too much information about this card, because just looking at these cards really takes your mind to where it needs to be to kind of tune into those higher chakra ideals. Just look at that, take it in. Lemuria, essentially, you know, a place that was lost under the sea, a place of the Akashic records, and again, it's actually emphasized the idea that the spirit realms are close, that the universal energy is really powerful, and it would be at this time actually, because it's end of Mercury retrograde and it's a lucky Leo full moon. So I hope you have a lucky week, Aries. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to catching up with you again very soon when I'll be back doing more readings. Thumbs up please if you've enjoyed it. Share me around the internet if that is actually physically possible from the whatever networking site you're on. But do keep it real, do keep it Twig, brother, and I'll be back soon. Peace.